Don't tempt...
Oh, happy day! Her Majesty the Queen of Albion graces us with her radiant presence. I knew last time we met that you would emerge victorious from such public sibling rivalry. And now, here I am, to assist you in filling your coffers till they are fit to burst. What better way to begin your reign than by reinstating one of my most successful policies? There is no greater waste than the idleness of our city's youth, but my employment scheme guarantees children of all ages will have something to occupy them, whilst ensuring our factories are properly manned.
It's just monstrous. Don't listen to him. You promised you would end child labor. Remember that promise now.
And what would you have us do with the snotty little indigents?
The only way Bowerstone is going to climb out of the gutter is through education. Nothing is more important to our future than that. Turn this factory into a school. Give the children of this city the chance they never had.
A school? Well, that's an original thought. Well, if you'd like to be known as a pauper monarch, then by all means, listen to her. Reaver Industries will abide by your decision.
The factory will be reopened as it was. We need all the workers we can get.
A most astute choice, Your Majesty. I shall begin the necessary modifications at once.
I will never forgive you for this. After all we've done, you're no different to Logan.
Welcome to the reopening of Reaver Industries Youth Center, where we care for your young 20 hours a day, teach them valuable skills, and ensure they never, ever get into trouble.
His widow's wife's whoring now to make ends meet.
I only give special discounts to people I really like.
Boo!
I can't...
Her Majesty, the Queen of Albion. Today, you will decide what is to be done with the Bowerstone Old Quarter, site of the Battle for Albion. Paige will offer her proposal. Reaver shall stand against her.
You may speak. Your Majesty, our victory came at a great cost to the city. You have done little to improve the lives of your citizens since you came to power. But it's not too late to start. I ask that the old quarter be rebuilt, and its former residents rehomed. You wouldn't just be helping those in great need. You'd be sending a message to your people. They're scared, Your Majesty. Let them know they can count on you.
Your Majesty, the Old Quarter was indeed devastated by your glorious triumph, but as its name subtly implies, it was old. The cost of rebuilding the area would be a colossal waste of money, and the people who called its decrepit shambles of streets and houses their home are better off without it. Besides, one must question what they have to offer our society. Why build homes for the inept and the unskilled? I recommend you reject Page's proposal and keep the money for more deserving endeavors.
It was our actions that caused the devastation, Your Majesty. But the final decision rests with you.
Now is not the time to build houses. We have other priorities. The request is denied.
The Queen has reached her decision. The Old Quarter shall become a monument to our victory, and is to be left untouched.
Sanity prevails. And do not fret. I shall make sure there is no negative publicity attached to your decision.
You have turned your back on those who need you the most. I wonder if anything has really changed since we overthrew your brother.
Despite the heartless demands of the greedy few, we are proud to announce that the historic site of Bowerstone Old Quarter will forever be preserved as a monument to this city's greatest triumph. Join me, Reaver, in saluting our proud heritage.
Is there a more beautiful spectacle than a big pile of gold? Forgive me the rhetorical question. In any case, we are certainly doing well, but we are still short of the target. As a matter of fact, our very first order of business might have a bearing on our financial situation. The time has come to decide the annual town guard budget. As you can imagine, the people like to complain about crime and the lack of safety on our streets, and are calling for more guards than your brother was ever willing to pay for. You have 3 choices, Your Majesty. Leave the budget as it is. After all, the people have grown accustomed to murder, theft, and contraband. Increase the budget and fill the streets with soldiers keeping the peace. A rather costly solution. Or take a more considered approach by lowering the budget. For what is the... Very wise, Your Majesty. Better to have a city full of criminals than a city full of very dead people. Let us now turn our attention to the rest of today's business. Here is the royal schedule I have prepared. As you can see, you have a busy day in the court, but a tremendously enjoyable one. Decoration is a passion of mine, and I simply cannot wait to see your choice. The interior designers await you in the throne room.
All stand for the Queen. Today you decide on the decor of the castle. 2 of Albion's greatest interior designers have come to present their suggestions.
You may speak.
Your Majesty, I am Herman Worthy, and I have a design in mind that will blow your little royal socks off. Imagine a celestial scheme capable of lifting the shadows that haunt these halls. A fabulous balance of serene hues that announce to the world, I am a strong, virtuous leader. Hear me roar. But also, look how pretty my home is. You are an enlightened queen. Let the heart of your castle be enlightened too.
Celestial? Serene? Pretty? Do you wish to be known as a ruler or as a fool? I am Sybil Maleficent, Your Majesty, and I can tell you that people respect what they fear. This castle should be a fortress of dread. I propose that we flood the rooms and corridors with blood, or at least a suitable paint substitute. Let all those who look upon this palace know terror, whether they be your subjects or your enemies.
It may seem trivial, but appearances can affect the opinion of the entire kingdom. The choice is yours, Your Majesty.
I wish this to be an enlightened castle.
Oh, fabulous, Your Majesty, fabulous! Your castle will be a vision of purity.
And what's more, fashion and good taste must choke down their nausea.
Today you decide on the future of Aurora, Your Majesty. Kaelin will speak for her people. Riva will dispute her cause.
You may speak.
I am here to seek the protection you promised. It is too long since my people felt safe, or knew of life without suffering. We were honored to join your fight to claim Albion. Now it is time we joined your kingdom. Do what your brother failed to do. Help us to rebuild Aurora and protect it as you would your own land.
There is nothing so noble as embracing other cultures, and I, for one, could not be happier to count Aurora as part of Albion. But surely they must work for that privilege, and I happen to know just how to put them to good service. There is an abandoned mine in the Auroran desert that holds enough materials to benefit the whole kingdom. Let us employ Kaelin and her people to gather what resources there may be. That can be their payment.
You are talking about forced labor.
Well, let's not get bogged down in semantics. It's a fair transaction.
I know you will not break your oath. You understand what we have been through.
The choice is yours, Your Majesty.
Aurora will become part of Albion. But they must work for this privilege.
The Queen has spoken. Aurora shall be mined for resources. Its people shall receive the protection of the throne in exchange for their labor.
You are no better than your brother. He may have left us to die, but you wish only to exploit us.
Welcome to the new and improved Aurora, an oasis of friendship, camaraderie, and valuable resources. Visit the city that Riva Industries rebuilt from sand and tour the local mines, where you can witness the Aurorans' refreshingly vigorous work ethic. Aurora, a gem glowing in the darkness.
A wise decision in court today, Your Majesty. While it is true that your popularity in Aurora has suffered, the people closer to home are not too concerned. This could prove to be a very profitable arrangement. And speaking of Aurora and profits, we may have stumbled upon some very exciting news in that area. It seems that a group of Albion explorers visiting Aurora have discovered a rare diamond in the desert. They heard the legend of this extraordinary gem from the locals, and understandably set out to find it, without a moment's regard for their own lives. which may go some way to explaining why only one of the explorers returned in one piece. He came back empty-handed, speaking of the hideous desert beings protecting the treasure. Think of the glory, Your Majesty, the adventure, the romance, the large sums of money we stand to make. The diamond is located in one of the caves beneath the Auroran wasteland, reportedly the site of an ancient, abandoned temple. You need only to take it.
I'm afraid...
Boo! Boo! What's it like being so rich?
You look rather fantastic.
Oh.
Anything happening in the
If
world?
you need money, there's an opening at the Pie Makers.
Oh, yes. Hello, Your Majesty.
Ugh! How disgusting!
Greetings, my lady.
Awful, this is.
Just enjoy. Enjoy. Oh, you've bought a fine item. Oh. Yeah, it may be.
Got too much gear?
You're paying top
Sell it to
gold
me.
for a top quality item.
happened to that married couple in Brightfall? Do they still need help with their relationship? I believe Brian still needs some help with his gnomes.
You are perfectly lovely. Not bad at all. You're looking like a million golds today.
Nah. Boo! Boo! How disgusting!
Damn, what rubbish!
Wait, how was I to know it was an all Well,
Just
like,
don't
I still
believe
quit.
what I'm seeing.
On my knee.
I mean, it's got some truth in it, like, but in the wider sense of that, it just lacks
Now
that
that's
certain
looking good.
verisimilitude.
We need change, and we need it now.
We won't stand for this. That's
Just... You're paying top gold. Yeah, it may be expensive. Enjoy. Oh, you've bought a fine item.
We're owned by a real adventurer. So, you know our goods are good.
Why are you so nasty?
Hey, looking good.
Need any help today? Who's the right tosser then?
Cheers.
The Queen.
I appreciate your help. You don't have to be rich to
nice
shop
doing
here.
business with you.
Scary. Whoa.
Got too much gear? Sell it to me.
You're looking like a million golds today, Your Majesty.
You've got some of the best clothes I've seen in a long while.
I'd love a pair of gloves like that, yeah. Very stylish.
Isn't there a sale on somewhere?
Ah, hello.
How nice it has been restored. The Queen of Albion.
Thank you.
Horrible! hello. Any other business to attend to? Are you going to open that gift, do you think? You did go to some trouble to get it, I remind you.
It's more beautiful than I dared to imagine. And heavy, too. Our experts estimate it's worth a small fortune. Of course, now the question becomes, what do you wish to do with this fine stone? Shall I deposit the money from the sale into the treasury? Or perhaps you would prefer the funds were channeled into, let us say, a more personal account? As you wish. Far be it from me to frown upon a little indiscretion. How many lives would it have saved anyway? Who can say? The Treasury's health is robust, but we must always be wary of unnecessary expenditures and watch out for possible avenues of profit. With that in mind, I would like to discuss the thorny issue of child benefits, which were abolished under your brother's rule. There are vocal elements within the community who are clamoring for us to bring it back. In the interests of the Treasury, and of the long-term welfare of the people, I have a counter-proposal. It's somewhat radical, but rather brilliant, if you don't mind me saying. We charge people for every child they have. This would keep the population low, but more importantly, the Treasury high. Is it really fair to bring new life into such an uncertain world? And won't that gold go to help the children who have already been born? Of course, you may also choose to keep Logan's policies. The matter is entirely in your hands. If you choose to leave Logan's abolishment in place, people might think you are no different to him. At least it wouldn't be a drain on the Treasury, though. I'm so happy you decided to follow my suggestion. There will be less mouths to feed and more gold to stockpile. A win-win situation, if one ignores the inevitable loss of popularity. Shall we proceed with the rest of your appointments? Here is the royal agenda for the day. As you can see, you have 2 audiences in the throne room to begin. I've heard rumors that Reaver's latest proposals are both scandalous and delicious. It should be most entertaining.
Boo!
All stand to attention for the Queen of Albion. This hearing concerns the future of the Bowerstone Shelter and Orphanage. Paige will speak for the disenfranchised people of the city. Reaver will dispute her cause.
You may speak.
Your Majesty, the shelter has long been the only refuge for the homeless, the poor, and the orphaned. And until we can change the whole world for the better, it will continue to be their only hope of survival. Isn't it time we held out a helping hand to those who need it most? The shelter is underfunded and the building has fallen into disrepair. Invest in the shelter and orphanage, and perhaps we can begin to create a better future for Albion's forgotten people.
I could not agree more. The city and its people are in dire need. But it is not charity they require. It is love. I propose we use this dilapidated building to help both them and ourselves. For love and money have always gone hand in hand. Let us inaugurate Bowerstone's first brothel.
A brothel?
Brothel, bordello, whorehouse. The name is unimportant. What matters is that the people get the love they need, and we get their money.
Yes, it's for your Majesty to decide. Refurnish the shelter and orphanage, or convert it into a house of ill repute.
It is time Bowerstone had its first whorehouse.
The shelter shall become a brothel.
Excellent, Your Majesty. I will see to it immediately. And I mean immediately.
This is exploitation, Your Majesty. Your people won't be pleased.
Does your heart have a sizable hole that can be filled only with love? Do your pockets jingle with leftover gold? Then Riva Industries is pleased to present the House of Requited Affection, where money really does guarantee happiness.
Today, you will deal with a pressing environmental issue: the disposal of the city's waste. Riva will offer his proposal. A member of the Morningwood community will stand against him.
You may speak.
Your Majesty, I'm sure you will have noticed a certain aroma permeating the city of late, even more nauseating than usual. I fear it is not merely the stench of the underprivileged. Bowerstone is beginning to have a serious waste disposal issue. We require an inexpensive and efficient solution, and I believe I have hit upon one. Now, currently, part of our waste is being disposed of in the Morningwood Marsh. With very little effort, Riva Industries could redirect all of the Bowerstone sewer system to flow directly into that region. As you know, it's a desolate place with no financial or cultural value to the kingdom. There can be little discussion as to the logic of this decision.
Hang on, this isn't right. Not right at all. We're all children of the soil. It's in our hearts, it's in our blood. It's under our fingernails. What I mean is, we're all equal when it comes to dirt, like. From dirt we come to dirt we go, yes? We who reside in Morningwood have as good a claim to being clean as anyone. And what of Morningwood itself? Its nature spirits, its woodland elves, and water fairies. Do they not deserve freedom from pollution too? Don't destroy paradise with your urban dregs, man. Channel the waste. Be one with the cycle of life. You have all these, like, factories and stuff, don't you? Turn one into a, you know, what do you call it? One of those things, a sewage reclamation facility, right on.
What shall you decide, Your Majesty?
Morningwood will be granted the honor of receiving the city's sewage.
The Queen has spoken. The waste from the city of Bowerstone shall be channeled into Morningwood.
I shall begin the flushing immediately, Your Majesty.
Oh, this is heavy. This is totally heavy. You've turned Granny Nature into your toilet bowl. But she'll fight back. You'll see. One day, in like 1,000 years, she'll fight right back, man.
There is nothing as important as the health and hygiene of our citizens. As such, Riva Industries is delighted to announce the opening of the Morningwood Sewer Reservoir, eliminating Bowerstone's most pungent pollution. Emptying one's bowels has never been safer, or such a pleasure.
The day is almost over, Your Majesty. Only one more appointment left. Page has requested a meeting in the old rebel headquarters. How very cloak and dagger. I wonder what she wants.
Welcome to the Sanctuary.
Got too much gear? Sell it to me.
I've been known to offer discounts. To the right customers, at least.
You.
You're paying top... Yeah, it may be expensive. Enjoy. Oh, I hope it brings you great happiness. Was that a one-off?
Oh no! What's going to happen? Boo! Boo!
It's not every day a queen walks into the rebel headquarters. I thought maybe you'd forgotten where it all started. Good. Kid went undercover with a gang of robbers and found out their plans. They're going to strike the tavern in Bowerstone Market. If you get there in time, you can stop the raid. And at least one of those thugs must know where Ferret is holed up.
Someone ought to give you a smack. Get out of here!
You can't ignore us forever.
Boo! Hiss!
Boo! Don't do that.
Boo!
Please, I'm begging you.
If you cooperate, you won't get hurt. But if you give us any trouble, we'll kill you. Now, just so you know we mean business, I'd like one of you to give us trouble, so we can kill him as an example to the rest. Who's it gonna be then? Oh look, we have a volunteer. The Queen, no less. Have at her, fellas.
Look at the money bags on this one! We're gonna be rich!
It is no longer advantageous for any of us to frequent the hideout in Industrial. Presently, I shall inaugurate a new centre of operations in Bowerstone Market. You've been provided with a key which will permit access. Please endeavour to prevent its transference to an unauthorised individual.
Don't much like that form. Ah, what rubbish!
Bah! What nonsense is this?
You again. It does tend to obviate the entire objective of maintaining a secret hideout if your enemies can simply infiltrate whenever they've the inclination. Lads, perform the specific services for which I employ you. Expeditiously.
Huh?
Killer! Fast!
Please set me free!
I believe I can state with relative confidence that your efforts are in vain. Even should it transpire that you vanquish my associates, this door is completely impenetrable. In addition to which, this cell contains a secret egress through which I may abscond whenever I desire. Meanwhile, my compatriots shall brutalize your person.
Looks like we're going to be doing this a long time.
You haven't lost your touch. I'm surprised his men were foolish enough to fight you.
Now, truth be told, my superlative intellect notwithstanding, it would appear this is not, in fact, the specific cell I so confidently referenced earlier. The one with the secret exit has 2 beds. All right, you have prevailed, Your Majesty. I concede. However, I entreat you to entertain a certain proposal.
You have nothing to offer, Ferret. It's over.
Ah, that pronouncement is objectively devoid of merit. I happen to have on my person a substantial quantity of currency. Let me go free, and the money is yours.
As far as I'm concerned, you can stay in there and rot. But that's for the Queen to decide.
Good of you to demonstrate such compassion. I shan't be so ill-mannered as to outstay my welcome. Farewell!
You have made great strides, Your Majesty. Witness the glory of your treasury. Don't you just want to go swimming in all that gold? But the kingdom demands your attention once more. The time has come to make a decision on Albion's drinking laws. Under Logan's rule, our citizens are restricted in the amount of alcohol they can purchase per day. As you can imagine, this has proved a rather unpopular measure. And yet many respected members of the community think the law does not go far enough. They would like alcohol consumption wholly abolished among the commoners. They feel, rather reasonably, that it leads to improper behavior and raucous public spectacles. These concerned nobles are willing to pay handsomely for the change in policy. Meanwhile, the commoners themselves would like the restrictions completely lifted, claiming they infringe upon their freedom and their rights. You cannot please everyone, Your Majesty, but you must make a decision. The residents of Millfields will be most pleased. They will find it money well spent, and I find it money well received. Let us move on to other matters, Your Majesty. You have a busy day in the throne room ahead. Samuel, the head of the Brightwall Academy, is ready to plead his case. I sincerely hope he isn't after a handout, though I'm sure Master Reaver will be the voice of reason, as always.
Is this going to affect me?
All stand to attention for the Queen of Albion.
Interesting.
Today you decide on the status of the Brightwall Academy, Your Majesty. Samuel will speak for the town and its scholars. Reaver will dispute his cause.
You may speak.
Your Majesty, it was your father who opened the doors to Albion's greatest seat of learning. Under his rule, knowledge and culture flourished, and so did the people of Brightwall. I ask only that you return to the wisdom of those days. Your brother closed the academy down, but it is in your hands to restore it.
There is no greater proponent of the arts than myself, and I celebrate knowledge in all its forms. But our people are frightened and confused. The last thing they need is knowledge. Allow them the benefit of ignorance. Let only those who are truly prepared make use of the Academy. The elite of our society will pay handsomely to indulge in erudition.
But only the rich will be able to afford to learn.
Precisely. Why give wisdom away when one can charge for it?
What do you wish to do, Your Majesty?
The Bright Wall Academy will be reopened as promised. But we will charge admission fees.
The Bright Wall Academy shall be reopened to those who can afford its services.
If that is how it must be, very well. But I am deeply disappointed you have broken your promise.
Very good. I will make arrangements at once. Stimulate your intellect in the newly reopened Bright Wall Academy. Suckle the knowledge from the land's greatest minds and avail yourself of the best library ever assembled. The reasonable enrollment fees are within reach of almost 1% of the population, so don't delay. Bright Wall Academy. As long as you earn, it's the place to learn.
The court summons Page and Reaver.
The matter before you today is the future of Bower Lake. Reaver will offer his proposal. Page will stand against him.
You may speak.
Your Majesty, a recent survey of Bower Lake has found that the waterbed is rich in valuable metals. Now, as amusing as it would be to make workers hold their breath as they mine these resources, I fear it would be impractical. Instead, we have no choice but to dam the river and drain the lake of all water. Once that is done, we will have a ready-made quarry, ripe for the plucking. It will be a pity to disfigure the landscape so close to my former home, but it is a sensible course of action in light of our current needs.
Bower Lake is the last piece of natural beauty remaining in Bowerstone. It belongs to our history and should be protected. Don't take it away from us. You'll be taking away part of this city's soul with it.
Oh, really?
You may not have improved the people's lives inside this city, but are you also going to destroy the one place they can find peace?
The decision is yours to make, Your Majesty.
We need the resources in Bower Lake. It will become a quarry.
The Queen has ruled. Bower Lake shall be drained and mined for resources.
I applaud your enterprising spirit. The lake shall be drained at once.
I fought for you, but you've turned your back on your people, Majesty.
Behold the ugliness of nature, so miserly in its gifts, its very lakeness, an affront to all good sense. Now, see it transformed into an exquisite monument to human ingenuity. Soil and rock offering up life and hope to thousands. How can one fail to be moved by such generosity? Reaver Industries proudly presents the Bower Pits.
I trust the court was not too dull today. In any case, I'm confident your final task will be most enjoyable. A loyal and wealthy member of our community has offered to make a sizable donation to our treasury. Her only request is that you go to Millfields to make the collection in person. A perfect chance to stretch your legs, Your Majesty.
Ah, hello.
Do you have anything I can buy off you?
Nah. It's on sale. A real bargain. Enjoy. I hope it brings you great happiness. Enjoy. Enjoy.
Greetings, my lady. Hello, your majesty.
Oh, that's bloody awful.
Always a joy to see you.
It's on. I hope it brings you great happiness.
Hi there.
Enjoy.
How can I help?
Enjoy. Enjoy. I hope it
you have
brings
what I'm
you
looking
great
for.
happiness.
Let's see.
Price is too high. He is second to
Made me
none.
terrifying,
What a
your
shock.
majesty. Thank you so much.
I'm a bit
Oh no. Can I
What
be
did
of
I do
service?
wrong?
How unexpected.
Promise.
Coming
I
from the
won't do
likes
it
of you.
again. Shopkeep.
Interesting.
Look, I know where the thief is. He fled into the woods.
Madam, I understand you want to recover what you've lost, but those woods are simply too dangerous. It would be suicide to enter them without combat experience, or training, or skill.
I don't want to enter them. I want you to.
Right. I was talking about me.
Oh, just forget it. Ah, Your Majesty, it's such an honor to have you here. If only fate hadn't conspired to make me look like a fool. Beware the woods, Your Majesty. The soldiers may be superstitious, but there's no denying dangerous beasts lurk within. Good luck. I know you will succeed.
Great block.
That's shooting a weapon, you know.
That's a nice piece.
Looking for the statue, Your Majesty. Follow the white balverine.
monster. Prepare to meet your... Oh, I'm so sorry. For a moment there I thought you were a Belverine. Damn things are always trying to get through our defenses. We burn silver nitrate in those lamps to keep them out. Kills them pretty quick if they hang around for too long. If a lamp goes out, well, I don't like to think what might happen then. One went out just recently, but we got it lit again fast. The man responsible, this bloke Connor, got punished. Severely. Before he disappears into the forest, he tells us there's gonna be a reckoning. He's probably in 25 different stomachs right now. That's my reckoning. You can come on out, everyone. It's safe.
Yeah! Ah, what rubbish!
Your Majesty, I've been expecting you. You've been through the village, have you? Charming hamlet. It's full of warm, wonderful people who'll give you the shirt off their back and condemn you to death for one simple mistake. Anyone can fall asleep on watch. You exile him into this forest and call it justice. But enough about that. You're here for that statue. It's quite a remarkable thing. It did everything the legend said it would. And now I don't need it anymore. It's funny how things change. So if you want to take it back to that prig in Millfields, it's yours. Nearly free of charge. All I ask is a small favor. Destroy those silver nitrate lanterns. Then the village will get a taste of justice. The choice is yours. And it's a simple one. How simple? If you decline, my brothers will kill you. Excellent. Soon we will feast on the bodies of those traitors. Now go. Destroy...
What are you doing? You'll kill us all!
I really fancy a spot of shopping.
I'm warning you! Stop now, or I'll open fire!
responsibility shared by many of my former neighbors, as it turns out. Here's what you came for. Seems the least I can do. Visit us again one day when you get the chance. You'll always be welcome here.
Welcome to the Sanctuary.
You're back. Did you find the thief? Did you recover the statue?
Of course she did. She is the queen, and thus infallible. If you will hand the statue to me, Your Majesty, I will endeavor to appraise it.
You found it? Oh, I can barely contain my tears. Oh, excuse me, Your Majesty. I can't let you...
A magnanimous gesture indeed. Your subjects are lucky to be ruled by one so giving. With the fatidic attack not far away now, it is most encouraging to see the Treasury doing so well. It makes one feel safer. I have taken to sleeping beneath the gold, actually. As for today's first order of business, you may have heard about the dire situation the kingdom's economy finds itself in. Logan's policies always kept our cities on the edge of bankruptcy, and the panic caused by the fast-approaching darkness has only exacerbated the situation. I'm afraid the only way to stop this slide into ruin is to bail out Bowerstone's financial institutions. The people are looking at you to save them from economic disaster, but remember that doing so may condemn them to a much darker and bloodier fate. What shall we do, Your Majesty? A most astute and sensible choice. Financial ruin may bring much distress to your people, but the darkness brings certain death. Shall we proceed with today's agenda? Kalin, the representative for the Auroran people, has requested an audience with you. The court awaits in the throne room.
Boo! Hiss!
All stand for the Queen. Today you must decide how much protection to grant Aurora. Kalin will offer her proposal. Riva will stand against her.
You may speak.
Your Majesty, as you know, the threat from the deserts that surrounds my city has not diminished. The darkness could fall upon us once more at any moment. Aurora is part of your kingdom now, and I ask that you grant us protection. Build a desert outpost that can warn my people should the crawler attack. It shall allow us to leave the city in time and ensure the survival of your loyal subjects.
A desert outpost? I've never heard such nonsense. What shall we do next? Erect taverns under the sea? Plant crops on mountain peaks? It is a foolhardy suggestion. Why should our valiant soldiers suffer sunstroke and chapped lips in a distant land when they could be protecting the people of this very city? Is it really worth risking the lives of all the people outside these walls for a mere alarm system? Of course not. Let us leave the funds and the soldiers where they belong, right here.
The darkness poses a threat to us all. But Aurora has already suffered more than its fair share. The final decision rests with you, Your Majesty.
We have lived in fear for far too long. This outpost would give us peace of mind and perhaps a chance of survival.
An outpost would be a waste of resources. Aurora's safe enough for now.
The Queen's decision is final. The military presence on the streets of Aurora is deemed sufficient for the protection of its citizens.
It is heartening to see reason prevail. Bravo, Your Majesty, bravo!
We saved your life once. Now you condemn us to death? Is that your idea of fair requital?
Bring forth Sabine of the Mist Peak Dwellers. Today, you decide on the fate of Mist Peak, home of the Dwellers, Your Majesty. Sabine will speak for his people and their land. Reaver will dispute his cause.
You may speak.
I come here seeking nothing but what was promised me and my people. You pledged to restore our home mountains and our right to dwell in them. We have fulfilled our end of the bargain. We have paid with our lives to sit you on that throne. Now you must fulfill your end. Undo the damage your brother did to our land, and our agreement shall be satisfied.
Your Majesty, this sounds both an unnecessary expense and an impudent demand. What value is there in a few trees languishing amongst snow and rock? This is not the time to indulge some idyllic fantasy. Those forests are a resource, and we are in dire need of resources. I propose we expand on your brother's initiative and take what nature offers so readily. Say the word, and I will transform the worthless wasteland of Mist Peak into assets we can use to defend Albion.
These hands are not yet so old or weak that I can't wring that pretty little neck of yours, Reaver.
The refined retort of a true mountain goat.
You made a promise to Sabine, but it's up to you whether you decide to honor it.
The forests of Mist Peak are too important to waste. They will make a valuable resource.
Mist Peak and its forests shall be logged to fuel the kingdom's defense efforts.
You have made an enemy for life, Queen. Beware a second revolution doesn't take this land before you can save it.
The forests of Mist Peak are our greatest national treasure, and now, thanks to Reaver Industries, you can enjoy them too. Ships, weapons, and furniture are just some of the many wonders available to you now. Remember, nature wants us to use her.
Monarchy isn't working, I tell you.
Utter naffness! Boo!
No!
Boo! You scared me.
Please.
It is time, Your Majesty, to meet fate with steely resolve and commission Albion's army. We will use the funds we have to establish the best possible defense. Before I can commit those funds, however, I require your signature on a contract stating your awareness of the projected number of civilian casualties. Strictly a formality, of course, though should the number alarm you, you may wish to donate as much gold to the treasury as possible before you sign. Very good. If you could just sign on the dotted line, please. Ah, having second thoughts. Perfectly understandable. There is no rush, Your Majesty. Very good. If you could just sign on the dotted line, please. Happy anniversary, Your Majesty. 1 year as Queen of Albion. Doesn't time just fly? I am delighted to say that the Albion army has been deployed in preparation for the invasion, so we may enjoy the occasion without apprehensions. To celebrate this momentous day, I have prepared some fantastic events. First, you will stand still for several hours while a local artist paints your portrait. Then you will choose the 47 varieties of flowers you wish to be cast at your feet as you parade through the city. Oh, and you will need to sign thousands of autographs, of course. Let's see. You will also be fitted for a new pair of shoes, and, of course, you will need a new suit.
The day has come, Queen. It is time for you to face the darkness. But you will do so in your true form. Over the past year, you have made decisions that reveal your nature, and which have affected the lives of all your subjects. Many see you as a tyrant, but you have done what was necessary to save your people. But you are more than a queen. You are a hero. You are Albion's champion, its protector. This coming battle is the reason you had to take Logan's place. Only you can defeat the creature that dwells in the shadows. If you do not, all your efforts will have been in vain. Now go. Do what you were born to do.
It's here. The darkness has reached Bowerstone. The attack has barely begun, but already we have suffered terrible casualties. We simply weren't ready. If we don't act quickly, there may not be a kingdom left to defend by dawn.
We have to get out on the streets, now!
Today we fight for Albion!
For Albion! I hear you make a living by being an errand girl.
is the cow, but this is the kingdom of unlight now. This is the kingdom of death!
Take that voice anymore! Yeah, no one will stop you, is it?
Don't listen to it. It will drive you insane. Don't listen!
We have to find that bastard and kill it. If like us, we might stand a chance. Nice one!
leave
He's
us
not getting up
alone.
again.
Just fly into your heart.
These things are tough. Hey.
This isn't real. It isn't real.
This is not. Someone please tell me about the knife.
We're gonna mount your head up towards the throat.
Dead fingers spoke. Dead fingers whispered. Dead fingers clawed 1,000,000 eyes.
Please keep your distance so I can shoot you.
You see the others.
Pick that up.
We drink the sounds you give
Bloody
us.
everywhere.
The cries of your young. The gurgle of a fresh ripped throat. We give thanks for your desperation.
That must have hurt.
You have done such mighty things. You shall rejoice in your death. Do not provoke us with the bone shining from your broken bodies. It is a transgression against the night.
Still shoot through it. Got it? Good. Stick to
You shall be sightless, for that is the most blessed state of being.
Nice shooting.
It is our gift to you.
Get up again.
They're tough, but swords still slice through them.
Just fly into your heart. Petals falling into a river. You are the flowers the children will pick and cast into water. Who crafted light, flimsy form. You rip like insect wings in our hands.
Shots like us, we might stand a chance. Yes! No armor is stopping you, is it? You're not touching me with your dark feelers. Armor is this, but you can still shoot
Such a loss. Lost
He's not here
people.
again.
Why do you cry for such alien things?
Yes! No armor is stopping you.
Mercy and help and love have no substance in the dark.
We're getting close to that thing. Where are you? Show yourself!
The lost sheep returns to the flock. No one ever leaves the darkness behind. Shadows now.
Hey!
Ah, the swarm!
Kill it!
Stand a chance!
The swarm.
I'm sorry.
You took away the darkness. It's been inside me all this time. But it's light now. I can see the sky. And it's light. I don't think I can fight anymore.
It's all over, Walter. We won. We beat it together.
Do you remember the stories I tell you when you were a child? There was a great king once. The mightiest hero of them all. Remember what you would say?
Teach me to be a hero.
You've done me proud. You've always done me proud.
Oh, Walter.
I think old Walter would have liked it out here. He was always a fan of looking tall and stony. I can imagine what he'd say if he was here now.
Shut up, Ben.
Exactly. Well, Queen, old chum, ruler supreme, pal, you did it. You saved the kingdom. And it's time I said my goodbyes. I'm not cut out to be a general. And I think I'd like to start travelling again. Or maybe see if Paige needs any help down in Industrial. But before I go, let's send off our friend in style, shall we? This one's for you, Walter.
This is the world as it could have been. Devoid of color, devoid of life. It is thanks to you that it isn't so, and you ruled as strong leaders should. It is not everyone who understands the necessity of making sacrifices. It is what fate requires of us. You were brave to break your promise to Sabine and his people. But it is through such decisions that wars are won and lost. You turned your back on Paige, but she dealt in ideals. A ruler must deal with reality. Is saving the lives of an entire civilization not worth more than the comfort of its citizens? You understood, as your brother did, that Aurora was a doomed land from the start. Saving Albion was always more important. Without the strength to make those choices, we would not be standing here now. Perhaps we shall meet again one day, Queen.
Aren't you going to tell me my future?
The future will reveal itself when it is ready to do so.
Congratulations, you've made a friend. In addition to being jolly good company, friends can give each other gifts and even discounts at shops that they own. You have accomplished. Man's best friend, as they say. Now, I was never quite sure whether that meant after all human friends have been consumed. Any other business to attend to? To look upon this wall does put things in perspective, doesn't it?